It's the Boomey-Factor Review Show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Boomey-Factor Review Show. I am KODX Factor, and I am here to talk to you guys solo today about the new game Far Cry 5 from Ubisoft. Now, the world of Far Cry features some of the craziest and most memorable enemies we've ever seen. We all remember Voss, don't we? And the man they call Father tries his best to exasperate the same kind of intensity that Voss carried in the previous entry. If there's one thing that the past Far Cry games have given us, it's a deep world with an exciting storylines. Except for Primal. Far Cry 5 takes place in a very rural part of Montana that features a family of religious leaders that brainwash their followers into corruption and murder. And they act as a sovereign nation. They answer to no laws and any form of justice, and govern only by their leaders. This leaves the hopeless civilians that try to live freely vulnerable and scared to live. And that's where you come in. You're a U.S. Marshal sent in to bring all the cult leaders in, but when things go awry, you step up to help liberate the land and take down the leaders. 4 to be exact. The game follows a pretty solid formula set from past games. However, there are just a couple of adjustments. You no longer have to do those ridiculous radio towers to open up areas of the map. Instead, you actually find map pieces that open up different areas of the map for you. There's only one tower that you activate in the very beginning. So yes, no more going all over the land looking for these radio towers to activate to open up new areas. The very Assassin's Creed-like mechanic that they had is now gone. There's only one, and you activate it at the very, very beginning of the game. There are tons of side missions to do as well. So it's enough to keep you busy for quite a while, from clearing out compounds to hunting wildlife. It's a formula that seems to work. The open world explanation that tends to show the teeth very, very early on. And crafting treasure and crafting items and going treasure hunting adds to the variety to the game that features a lot of compound and town liberations. The game does feature a multiplayer and co-op component, but can actually be a little bit troublesome. Yes, it does feature a drop-in, drop-out aspect for one other player. However, the game does not have a save progression, which means that if you drop into a friend's game, you guys are playing for hours, whoever's hosting that game has story progression. They're completing missions, they're beating parts of the story, and that all saves for them. However, when you go back to your game, all those saves and everything are gone. You have to pretty much start from wherever it is that you left off when you jumped into his game. So there is no save progression for the player that jumps into a multiplayer game. The only thing it will carry over are like stuff that you get in the world as far as like currency and stuff like that. That does transition over to your actual game when you're all set to play. So that is one thing to keep in mind, that the co-op aspect is a little bit janky, is the fact that it doesn't have a save progress. So yes, they did promise you can play co-op the entire game from the beginning to the very, very end. But there are limitations to it, and you have to be aware of that. Don't go jumping into a co-op game with a buddy from the very, very beginning and thinking that whatever you do is just going to carry over. It doesn't work that way. Think of it kind of like in a Ghost Recon Wildlands sense. But like I said, the money you gain and all the stuff you do within the missions you gather as far as material does transition and go over to the actual game with you. To sum it all up though, Far Cry 5 is actually a beautiful game. It actually looks really, really solid. I'm actually very impressed graphically with it. The story is actually pretty good. It does have a couple of bumps in the road, but there are really no deal breakers here. There are a couple that could make the game just a little bit better, but no real deal breakers here. The game is fun, and that's all that really matters. Especially if you're a Far Cry fan, if you've been a fan of the series previously, you're going to really like this entry. I know a lot of people, liked Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, and then Primal came along, and everybody's, I'm not really into Primal. Yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't really much into Primal either. But Far Cry 5 tends to carry on the legacies from 3 and 4 to just a whole new different area. You're no longer on a desert island and having to survive the exotic wilderness and the enemies that come along with it. This time you're in the United States. So yeah, the game is fun, and that's all it really matters. The game, again, looks beautiful. It's phenomenal looking. But I think Ubisoft is trying just a little too hard to match the intensity that Voss brought from Far Cry 3. We all love Voss, named one of the villains of the year, but I think they tried a little bit too hard to bring that intensity that character had to this iteration. And yeah, the father, as they call him in the game, is crazy in his own right, but he just lacks what Voss had in Strides, and that's really personality. And his personality was just, he was one of those villains that you hated and you loved all at the same exact time. This villain here doesn't really have that. This villain is more along the lines and more along the sense of you kind of dislike him from the very beginning. He doesn't have that kind of love-hate relationship with you as the player. And I think Ubisoft tried to push that just a little bit too much to give him just that extra sort of crazy to him, that it just didn't really feel authentic enough, or it didn't carry on what they built with Voss. And I think they just tried just a little bit too hard. But overall, I think the game is beautiful. I am actually really, really happy with it. A couple of kinks here and there, but nothing really breaking about it. So for Far Cry 5, I have to give it a solid 4 golden poop emojis. And that means the game is actually really, really good. We're very happy with it. We think you'll be happy with it as a purchase. It's a good, solid, AAA title. We're very happy with it, so I think you guys will too. So again, that is our 4 golden poop emojis for Far Cry 5. And until our next video, we hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like what you've seen, please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Let's have a conversation about Far Cry 5 and your experiences down in the comments below. So let me know what you think. If you like what you see and hear, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Until our next review, everybody, thank you guys for watching. I am KO the X Factor. This is the Boomey-Factor Review Show. Game on.